Thanks for joining us on episode 2. Today I'm delighted to introduce a good friend of mine and friend of our business who's involved in the hire, which is Mr. Johnny McGuirk. Johnny, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
No problem. So Johnny, delighted you came in. Thanks very much. Out of your very busy schedule. Can you fill us in a bit about your business and the hire in general and how you got into it in the first place?
Well, I suppose leading back, my father was a construction plant fitter with South of Ireland Public Works, and as a young lad they worked 7 days a week, and he used to bring us on a Sunday. Like, you talk about health and safety, but like we were no more than probably 8 or 9, myself and my brother, and we'd spend a day running around the plant yard getting in there with machines, and it was from that I kind of got a love of machinery. So leading from that, then TBF Thompsons were looking for an apprentice, and did a lot of work with the likes of Breffney and that, and I was out on machines and like ended up one summer a bulldozer went on fire up in Malahide, and we spent the whole summer putting this back together, hose by hose, and
Jeez, that's great.
And the joy of kind of seeing it back up and running from where it was to where it ended up, and it was just from that I just had a love of machinery. So TBF were looking for an apprentice. I went for an interview, and they took me on, and I did 4 years of an apprenticeship with TBF Thompsons.
It's funny you mentioned TBF Thompsons because they're across the road from us now here in Park West, but they were in Kilmainham before that. Is that where you did your apprenticeship in Kilmainham?
So Kilmainham, like it was 8:30 to 5:30. The beauty about it was a small enough workshop, so you kind of worked on all sorts of stuff. Like, they did a lot of petrol stuff, but they also did, like power floats and whacker plates. They had the Bomag agency, so they did a lot of compaction equipment, rollers. They ended up with a Fiat Hitachi excavator agency, so did a good bit on excavators, Thwaites dumpers, Kukan crushers, so that was the quarry end of it. So ended up kind of in a couple of quarries doing rebuilds on crushers. So it was a vast array of different types of machinery that we got to throw our hand at.
And only recently you posted, I think, on social media, one of the channels, you posted that there was a digger that was something like 40 years old. You may have worked, you think you PDI'd it. I remember you saying that you might have PDI'd it. Yeah,
it was a Thwaites dumper, and the old TBF sticker was on it, which we would have been putting them on when we went through it, and it just happened to land it into a place. And sure, I'm always looking at videos, looking at an opportunity, and seeing this dumper, and it just brought back memories. Like, I think there was a reg plate on it from 1996. So yeah, just looking at it and just thinking back of, we used to go down to the docks. The dumpers would come in from the docks, they'd come off the boat, and we go down and we drive them up the quays. Like, we drive them all the way up along the Liffey and out to Kilmainham, to where TBF was.
All the way from there.
Yeah. So when we got cute, I just go around and I just notch up the revs a slight bit on my own dumper, so that way I'd always win the race.
Up the what was the prize?
Just the joy of winning and bragging rights.
Mars bar or something. Yeah. So to recap basically on your TBF Thompson days, when you left TBF Thompson, what was the next step for Johnny? Did you go straight into plant, or what was the move then?
Well, when I got qualified with TBF, I as a construction plant fitter, I ended up then I had an opportunity to go on the road selling spare parts. So now I was a quiet and shy and probably nervous young lad. Like, I often. I went out on the road in a van selling parts. I could drive into a place and I mightn't like to look at the place and I drive straight back out. Like, it was a real learning curve for me and a real confidence booster. So did that for a year or two. Then we were selling wear parts, so track chains and sprockets and rollers for excavators. So we used to sell them during the week. TBF hadn't got a fitting facility, so we used to get the customer to bring the machine to my dad's yard, and we'd fit it at the weekend.
Okay.
So we'd get a machine, we'd get an excavator on a Friday evening, fit the undercarriage over the weekend, and give it back to him on a Monday.
So that was good going.
So that was a learning curve. Then I went actually selling machines. So because of me fitting background, I was able to vet trade-ins. So I started to see the whole selling side of it and the buying side of it, and looking at trade-ins and selling to people. And it was in this phase that I was working for a company, and I was dealing with a customer, and I was the middleman. And sometimes I found it difficult to give the customer what he wanted, and keep the company happy, if that makes sense. Like,
Okay, yeah.
And this is where I started thinking about maybe doing something myself. And now I worked for a couple of small companies kind of over that year. Left TBF, went to sold Atlas for a small time, and then worked down the docks with Plant Direct, bringing in imported machinery from Asia. And selling it all around Ireland, like the Jap cars, but with construction machinery, and that was the real eye opener. And I met Jim Kenny from KPH in Galway in that time, and Michael Keneally from Loughrea in Galway, and they had a lot of customers in Dublin, but they weren't. They were finding it hard to service them from Galway. And
were they a big influence for what you
they were huge, and helped me greatly. And look at, here, I suppose I'd like to thank them.
Nice to get them a shout out.
Give them a mention, two great men, and were very willing to help. And it was from that then, before a few machines went up on the Lewis line on the Nace Road. A 3-ton digger and a dumper and a teleporter.
What a job to start on.
And away we go, like, and that was it.
One thing that I see, and it's great to see, because even on TV, Dermot Banham on the show, you see, it's always great to see a familiar sticker, such as some of the hire companies, a lot of the hire companies who do, but you see the McGuirk plant sticker. I'm always amazed to see it. It's a big smiley face at the thumb. How did you come up with that logo? Because logos are important.
Yeah, so I suppose in the beginning, we when we started the company, which was 2001, we're actually 25 years this month on the go. When we started up, we were McGuirk Plant Limited.
And that came from the family name, you the family business, is that right?
Came from, basically from the family name. So we kind of diversified in the, 2001 leading up to I suppose 2007. We were dealing with a lot of contractors, a lot of subbies, and very little kind of dealing with the public. And in looking at it then, when the kind of the bad times came, we kind of looked to diversify, and a hire company closed in Clonsilla, and we opened the hire shop in Clonsilla.
You have two locations, is that right?
Two locations, yeah.
Finglas there, near Jack White's.
Yeah, between the White House there, between Ashbourne and Finglas, and then we've a hire shop in Kilmine in Blanchardstown. So 2011 we opened a hire shop in Blanchardstown, and it was around then that we looked, and I looked at the name and I said, look, we need to change this in order to draw in the public, like, because we were going a different direction with the shop in Kilmine from point of view of, let's say, dealing across the counter, dealing with the public. It gave us a name in Dublin 15. It gave us a location in Dublin 15, which is a big area. So I was looking at changing it, and I was trying to pick a logo, and I sat down with a fella and we were messing around with a few different types. And I came up with the name Smiley Hire. I now look, if you ever see me, like, I'm always laughing at something. I think
always
if you don't laugh, you cry. There's always there's no point going around in bad form. Like, and look at the thing about it is, and I even say it, like, if you could smile at someone, just our courtesy, and just make their day. Do you know what I mean? So I'm always a believer. But anyway, with the logo, I was looking at Smiley Hire. So we were thinking about things like that. We had the smiley face and we were throwing it around, and we ended up putting McGuirk Hire into it. And then I still wasn't happy with it, and we were messing around with it. And one of the things in the business is about having equipment ready, is it ready to go, thumbs up, it's ready to go, like, do you know what I mean? So,
well, it's very clever, because even today emojis are used now more than ever, so it's a bit like an emoji, so you're very much with the times.
Yeah, well, look, I think the emoji came after it, but it was great. So any time, and the amount of people that send me pictures or your logo, like, it's
instantly recognisable. It is.
It's eye-catching.
And instantly recognisable. Like, you'd see it on a Sunday night watching Dermot Banham on Room to Improve, and you'd see the digger coming in through, or the dumper. You know, and it's great to see it. Like, you know, and then there's other hire companies you see we deal with as well. You see theirs as well. They're always more prominently, particularly because the jobs have been on the north side. But just because you're north side, you see your diggers and you see your other plant on the south side of the city as well, and even further than just Dublin city itself.
Yeah, well, we do a lot around Dublin, but we'd also we be in Wicklow, Kildare, Meath, Louth, up around Dundalk, Drogheda, a good lot. You know, probably off. You know, we'd have a bit of stuff in Offaly. Like, as I say, we at the end of the day, we've good customers, and if they want us to go somewhere, we'll go. It's as simple as that.
So the business is good now, Johnny. Obviously, it's really improved. And have you diversified just from diggers' numbers now? You're doing, obviously, you get core drills off us, and you get road saws and stuff. So you're doing a whole array of plant. It's the fair to say.
Well, I suppose originally when we started the business, it was kind of plant related, and you know, as it kind of grew, and obviously with opening the shop, we started to get into a lot of the kind of petrol equipment, and you know, look at the likes of the floor scabblers that we get from yourselves, the road saws, the con saws, and then the core drills. So yeah, but between all of that kind of small gear, all the best stuff, like the best of service, or what would I able to be? What else could I say?
I may as well plug myself.
Or I might get out the door.
Exactly.
But yeah, the best of gear. But like, yeah, like now there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of minding in the smaller equipment. So obviously we had to change our systems and kind of make sure that we had all that area covered, like, and obviously the backup for it as well.
You've a massive backup team there, haven't you, which is important.
Yeah, well, like there's 8 in the workshop now. Between, like, you've an area that's kind of looking after the smaller equipment, and then you've an area that's looking after the diesel equipment. Then we've lads on the road, you know, for preventative maintenance along with breakdowns.
How do you get them lads? Because it's a difficult time when you're finding it hard, particularly when you get somebody to get their hands dirty. I noticed in your workshop when I've been there a few times, you've certainly got younger lads, which is great to see coming through, because we're going to need them in the next 10, 15, 20 years, Johnny. When everybody else, like our fitting team, even, like, we've got a young lad coming through as well. We've got 2 older lads, they're more experienced, they're in the 50s. After that, then there's no between 18 to 50. What's going to happen in 5-10 years' time? Are you confident that what your business model, what you're doing with these 8 fitters you'll have, will number one, they'll stick with you, and number 2, are happy to keep getting their hands dirty, and you're going to have new blood coming in behind them again, or what way do you see it going?
Well, it's funny. I suppose it's like you're building a team. You know, we have very little turnover of staff, because at the end of the day, you bring them in. You know, it's not a job to them. It's a livelihood. It's you know, they're part of the team. They're part of I suppose the business. Like it's, and like, if you take, let's say, the older lads, I think in the past the older lads were less likely to share their knowledge for fear that younger lads were going to take maybe take their jobs, and they'd be irrelevant. Like, whereas now I think the fact that and I suppose it was educating them, the fact that there is very little I suppose fitters or young fitters or apprentices available or around, that the older fitters now are prepared to share their knowledge with them and are happy to bring these young lads on. So what we tried to do was, as we got these lads in, firstly maybe bring them in for the summer, test the water, see how they are. I'd be a stickler for time, and like I've done it in the past where, you know, lads will be late. Look, if you're going to be late, there's no point coming in, like, you know. So you're trying to educate young lads.
Would you test them sometimes on the time? Would you throw out, like, there's a job coming up, I need somebody in, see who'll put their hand up, see who'll be in? Would you do that kind of thing? Or,
well, you know, at the end of the day, there's always something to be fixed. So you know, there's overtime. There's always, you know, we're pushing hard. There's machines to be got ready to go out the following morning. So look, that's a balancing act. Like, you want to push lads, but you don't want to push them that they decide, I want out here, I can't handle this. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think you create a working environment that the young lads feel like they're learning and they're part of it, and they're not kind of left outside. You know, the older lads, you're making sure that they have a say in what's happening in the development of the business, in the development of the workshop, in the systems that we put into place. So it's just getting the team to work together. You know, now don't get me wrong. That sounds like it's bliss. Like it's far from it. It's you know, it's bedlam. There's times when you're firefighting.
Well, we've noticed, particularly in the small plant and things, we've noticed a massive increase in handheld power tools. What's the ratio, do you reckon? Are you getting more handheld power tools in, or are you getting diggers and dumpers? The reason why I'm asking this question is, obviously, because an awful lot of handheld stuff, you don't have to be qualified, where obviously to use a digger or a dumper, you have to have a certificate, you have to be a competent person or a cherry picker. So it's fair to say the person operating that machine is going to be competent, so they've got the qualification, plus they've got the experience. Whereas in the site with handheld saws, like a consaw or a drill, any individual will take the drill up and they can use it incorrectly, and therefore it's needing to be repaired. You know, but sometimes it can have devastating consequences that they'd injure themselves, you know, and like even looking and searching for electrical cables and stuff, people don't even think common sense. So like that's what we find. Are you finding though, is it mainly small power tools your lads are dug in the trenches in, or is it diggers and dumpers and larger plant?
Well, I think we're like one side of the workshop is looking at the small equipment. So you get, like, you could have drills coming back with you know, they were dropped instead of put down, and there's handles broken them, or there's bits broken, the chucks on them. It's just from not being used properly, like. Yeah. And with diggers and dumpers, like, you could have windows smashed, you could have rams bent, you could have, like. And again, it comes down to the operator.
You're an advocate like myself of going to trade shows, and I love going to trade shows. Obviously, we've built up an awful lot of personal friends through these trade shows, and it's a nice time to meet up, whether it's in Germany or the UK or Italy or whatever the case may be. But there's a nice element there. Like I've seen you over in Boma. Boma's a massive show. It's like the Holy Grail. It's every 3 years, which is great because you look forward to it. Where other where shows are every year, and it's a bit monotonous, and companies under pressure to bring out new innovative products and solutions on. I've seen you over in Boma. Like it's massive. It's like the size of the Phoenix Park, full of machinery. This is where they called you. What's the nickname you have? You have a nickname.
A digger sexual.
So you're walking. You're like me. I got a horn for all the other products that we see, like diamond drilling and sawn. You're getting a horn for diggers and dumpers.
Well, it's funny that came from a young age. So there was a lot of me mates, and there was one lad, and he had a fascination with aeroplanes. So the boys just call him an aerosexual, right? But like he'd see a plane in the air, be going, "Oh, that's a such and such," and we'd be going, "This fellow's tapped." And then like we'd be driving down the road, and I'd be looking in a field, I'd see a machine, and I'd be quoting the model of it. That's a such and such, and they were looking at me as if I was half tapped. But that's where that came about. But I looking at the shows. The shows are brilliant. It's one element of it is the people you meet, like, and you're meeting them in a more relaxed environment. I say, as opposed to meeting them on a site where they've a million things going on, and it's hard to talk to them, and their phone is hopping, and maybe your phone is hopping, and you're under pressure to get somewhere else.
Like, they're great for networking.
Unreal.
I've introduced you to people at the shows, particularly in the Irish bar, Kennedy's in Munich, which is a great spot. Give them an old plug out because they're very good to us. And karaoke, and there's all sorts of characters that you meet there that are great by the crack. And you know, you might think that person is standoffish until you're actually introduced through a third party. I think they're brilliant. But the one thing you did pick out of that was this big digger and dumper. I think it was, I don't know who it was from.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it'll be inserted. You'll see it now in a few minutes where Johnny's actually giving out. And what was he, you said?
Yeah, it was an electric Komatsu, so it was.
How big was this now, Johnny?
It was 800 ton, like.
Massive.
Yeah,
it wouldn't fit in this room.
It was an 8000 PC 8000 was the model of it, but it was huge, like. But it was electric, and there was a lead that thick coming out of it. So we just happened to be passing it, and sure, look, I a bit of crack. I just took a video. Imagine charging this yoke. Like,
yeah, and that was on your TikToks.
I know. Yeah. Look at that piece. That's actually electric. Imagine fucking charging that. And that yoke there, look at the size of the tracks. That's electric as well. Imagine fucking charging that. Charging that with a big fucking generator blowing out smoke to beat the van. Huh? Look at the height of the tracks on it.
Yeah, no, which you're known well for your TikToks, like, would you have to say. I get a great laugh out of your TikToks, and this part of that would be inserted into this as well, so it makes it interesting. But like, you're real about it, Johnny. But even you see you doing your TikToks, you're running, and you'll throw a few F's and B's into it the way we should, because it's normal. It's natural vocabulary. We're all watching our P's and Q's, which we shouldn't have to be all the time, like, you know. So yeah, it's brilliant to see. So do you relax with the TikToks? Do you find them relaxing? Are you doing it for an education? Or are you just having a bit of crack with it?
Well, like I probably started as a bit of crack, and I kind of took off, and like I do an early morning, like the majority of mornings I'm up at 5:20. I'll be over in the yard kind of 6ish, in around that, and it's an ideal time. It's quiet. There's a lad with us there, Alan. I think he's with us a long time now, but he's in the yard at 5:45, and he'd have the place. It'd be lit up like a Collins Street. There'd be machines going. There'd be beacons, and I just seen it as a good time to kind of throw up a video, and then I kind of people start contacting me kind of on the back of it, and I was starting to get a little bit of business out of it.
Yeah, it's good.
This is interesting, and then I just like I could come across like
nothing. You're having a crack with it.
Nothing is planned. Like
No.
like I go in the morning and whatever is there, and sometimes I'd see a machine and go, geez, that's too rough, I couldn't put that in the video. Like I'd try and put clean stuff, and we do have clean gear. I try and put the clean stuff into it. I wouldn't be putting the rough stuff into it.
No one's planned. It's trying to have the crack, isn't it?
But it's having the crack, and then it's educational from point of view of like we could have, like, let's say a track boom. We could have a track boom and we throw it in, and it's just education with the videos.
So Johnny, with no veil, I couldn't resist. Because I couldn't resist because it's actually very current. And in fairness, that's what I want to get on to next. Is your hurling side of things. Like you played for Dublin. You played through your club, Quaeve Kieran. You won the Dublin Minors. You were managing the Dublin Minors. I want you to explain a bit. And obviously, you met the main man who we were just mimicking there, Mr. DJ Carey. Yeah. Well, look at the club I played for was Craig Kieran and Donny Carney, right beside Parnell Park, which is the Dublin's home ground. My mother was from Donny Carney, so my father actually played for the club. My mother was heavily involved in it. So I grew up playing the game, played it up until I was 18, and then actually went playing volleyball, believe it or not, and played, and it was gas. Like, come here, where'd you get this from? Top Gun or something? Top Gun or something? You're on the beach in Port Barnick, was it?
I wasn't that good, and I certainly didn't look that good. Did you take the top
off?
What?
Did you take the top off?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story, right?
Yeah, go on.
We played an outdoor tournament, volleyball tournament in Port Marnock one time, right?
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, it was 6-a-side, whatever it was, and we got to the final, and we were betting the final of it. But I went home that evening and I couldn't walk. My two legs were burnt to a crisp, right? And I couldn't go to work. Yeah. I couldn't go to work for 4 days. Like I was sitting at home with natural yogurt all over my legs. But just when you talk about getting sunburned playing volleyball, it wasn't as nice as Top Gun, I tell you.
Walking around like a marinade for a kebab.
But I played volleyball at a high level. I won a few caps, like. But it was a great sport.
There's a big difference in a volleyball to a sliotar, though, isn't there?
But it's funny, like I played it from kind of 18 till I was 22, but the crack in it was unreal. Yeah. We used to go away in tournaments. We went to Holland, we went to all over the country, like, and you go away for the weekend, and the crack we had was all my mates were playing. And then kind of around 23 or so, got a phone call with a player. The junior team was stuck for a few players where they go out and play, and I went out and play, and I fell in love with it straight away. And I always equated the volleyball training because it's reactive to reacting to a breaking ball in hurling. So I always maintained, even when I went training teams after, I always incorporated kind of quick feet and just reactive training into the game, because ultimately a sliotar can drop down between 3 or 4 people, and if you hit the same sliotar down, it could go in 10 times, it'll go in 10 different directions. Do you know what I mean? So it's reactive. But
it's a very, very fast game as well, though. Like, I'd be very proud when we're away on holidays and so on, and you see all the foreign people on holidays, and they're amazed when you see an Irish pub and they're all stood around watching the hurling. The hurling matches, because it's so fast, and it really is. It's a tough game, like. Yeah,
it's a class game now. I went back when I was 23, played away then till I was near 37. Like, won a couple of we won 4 county senior championships. Celebrated too much and never really made ground in Leinster.
Did you get banged on the head, Johnny? Did you?
I got a few. I've a few old dents and I've a couple of dodgy fingers as well on the back of it, because like the helmets only come in as I finished the helmets.
That was after Mulvaney was the fella's name that was killed, was it?
Yeah.
In a semi-final. His father was a caretaker in Drumnacassa where I was a pupil. I remember that, and I remember them bringing in the helmets as mandatory then after that. They was playing for good council. Not that I was any good at hurling, but I played for good council then. They were a great team in Drimna, like, you know, back in the day.
Yeah. Well, I suppose looking back on it, like we like played up until about 2009. Then I did the marathon in 2010. And I went managing. I was kind of always managing underage teams, and I was with a couple of Dublin development squads, and then up through the years, and then 2016, 15, 16 managed Dublin Minors, won a Leinster, betting All Ireland semi-final, but was always involved. Like, just I loved the game.
What's your most defining moment from your hurling career?
Personally, probably. Look, at 2003, we won the Walsh Cup. Like, Dublin to win a Walsh Cup now wouldn't be seen as important, but back in 2003 they hadn't won a cup in, I don't know, maybe 20 years or 30 years. Like, but come on with 10 minutes to go and got a ball out in the wing and closed your eyes and hit it and went over the bar and we won by a point.
So, brilliant, yeah.
But like
very proud moment for your dad as well, I'd say, at that point.
He was in the crowd like me.
He was a big influence on you as well.
Huge. Passed away in 21, like, of cancer, like, but he was I always say, even through the family, like, that's where we got our kind of work ethic from. Like, it was work, like, do you know what I mean? Good morals, like.
Yeah. Now, when I met him a few times out there, all right, in the yard, and he had a huge funeral as well, like.
Yeah, missed around the yard now, definitely missed. I'd say
so, but he's in you and Colin anyway, as a continuing on.
Yeah, like the obviously my father stuck with the welding, went into structural steel, and Colin, the brother, he took on that business, and he came into the...
he's a good slogan on his van, hasn't he?
Small company, big erections.
Yeah, I have to say,
I know. He's mad as a brush.
It's like those companies that you see them and you see a tone company, it's called Camel Top.
Yeah.
I think it's great, like, trying to get the name.
Yeah,
like,
it's class.
You can't beat the Irish humour when it comes down.
But he's a serious man to work, like, and does good work. And look at, as I say, families around us, like, when you look at it now, like, look at even the backing of my wife, like when we met. We're 30 years married this year. When we met, I hadn't a penny. I hadn't a penny.
You still haven't a penny.
And she backed us. She backed me through thick and thin, like, you know. And then I've two lads, and
young Johnny's in the business.
Yeah, the oldest.
And he only got married recently himself as well.
That's right. Yeah, the oldest lad. He's running looking after the hire and shipping out the work to the drivers and stuff like that. So yeah, and Adam's a timber head. He does makes he's a
it's just two boys you have, is it? Yeah.
Lads,
very good. Yeah. So family's important. Like, I know you do a bit with the charity in line with your mother as well, your late mother as well. You do the run.
Yeah. It was Alpha One. My mother passed away from Alpha One there, 2024. I actually have it. I'm a carrier myself now, and but the big thing is smoking, not smoking. If you don't smoke, it kind of. It doesn't really affect you.
Like most things, smoking will accelerate a lot of issues.
Yeah. So I just have to watch myself around dust and fumes and stuff like that, and like, you know. So we kind of did. We did a couple of runs through February and raised money over the last number of years for the charity. So,
but it's nice to give back.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like, look, it's nice. Like in with the business, you're in a position where you can look and help lads, and like, even through sport, like there's a young cyclist there. We give him a dig out, and I just, like, I suppose when you look at the I suppose the similarities in managing a business and, let's say, managing a team in sport, like the crossover is unreal. At the end of the day, it's man management. It's about trying to get the best out of people.
You don't have those skills, you can transfer them from one to the other. You don't.
Yeah, like you know, you talk about the young people and the, you know, the screens. Like one thing that would really annoy me is seeing really young kids with screens sitting in front of screens like their development. Like I think they're just hampering their development. It's a short term. Let's keep it there. Like whereas get them out, get them active, get them moving, get them.
Yeah, but how active do you want the kids? Like, do you want them being active? Like we discussed earlier on, Johnny, about these scramblers. What do you do? Get them off a screen. You go out and buy these kids these scramblers, these e-scramblers that are causing havoc. We recently saw that poor girl Grace that died there as a result of, and that's one of that's been brought to a forefront, and I believe they're bringing out the law to change it, which is fantastic. Grace's law to ban these outright and completely. Like I'm getting overtaken in the evenings on the way home sometimes. No matter where you are in Dublin, it's very hard not to see these scramblers. With do you come across them? I'm sick and seeing it. And the guards seem to be powerless in this. There's so many. I know another guy from a boxing club, and his dad ended up paralysed because he was hit by one of these scramblers come over a wall. There's other people out in Portmarnock Beach, I believe, that were left paralysed. Where do we draw the line? What's your experience? Have you come across these e-scooters and these e-scramblers? Have you any?
I have. I suppose first off, our thoughts and prayers are with the family. It's devastating. That young girl went out on I think it was a Sunday afternoon and didn't come home, and it's awful sad. With these scramblers, you go up around Blanchardstown and they're wheeling up the road past cars, and them e-scooters, they're getting faster and faster, and they're tearing through. I'd go off for a walk with the dog, and next thing this thing will fly by you, and they'll be in total black with no lights on it, and hoods up.
But they're hiding the faces, Johnny. The other side of it is they're hiding the faces. They're just showing the slits. Ever since COVID became acceptable, obviously, to hide your face and your mask. But these guys are hiding it for an identification purposes. The one thing I'm happy with, I have to say, and you probably agree with me, is have you noticed a more visible presence in the Gardaí and the motorbikes in the last, say, 6-7 months?
Yeah, well, definitely with the passing of Grace, that has highlighted it, and you'd be hoping that they bring the law in, where they'll go in and just confiscate these at the end of the day, there's no insurance.
If they hit you, you'll have to pay out yourself, but then you're probably going to get blamed on it as well, and Johnny, and pay for their hospital bill as well.
And they can't be caught. If they try and stop them on it, they're going up a laneway or through a park or through an estate. So the quicker they ban them, the better.
Yeah, no, I think the same. But even the reason I'm even bringing up with the guards and the motorbikes, at least they can go through parks and narrow alleyways. They're not on the Hyundai Jeeps and the Hyundai i40 cars where they can't or they stop. Now you can actually go through, but also when you're on a motorbike, you can jockey up over a wall, you can have a look. You've got the protection on because they've got the leather gear, so even you'd think they're hard even to confront the Gardaí once he's in his leather, because you've got the helmet, and it's also impersonal from the Garda. So the reason why these guys, they make it impersonal with these slits in their eyes and all dressed in black, is because it's intimidating, and it's very intimidating when they're coming up right behind you, they're revving, and there might be two of them on the bike, and there might be 3 or 4 swerving around you, and they drive a big enough car, I'd feel insulated and protected. But imagine if you were a woman in your 60s or 70s driving home, one of these cars comes outside you, it's terrible. But to relax, when you go home in the evening to try and relax, what do you do to relax? What are you doing? If you have any decent TV programs you like to watch, or?
Well, I suppose, turning off. One thing I do well is sleep. That's one thing. If I sit down on the couch within 20 minutes, I could be asleep. The only thing telly-wise that would really kind of keep me going is something like the likes of Gold Rush.
Because you're a digger sexual,
as you said. and I'll get tuned into it, and I like the mayhem of it, and I like the characters. And now I think their man management skills leaves a lot to be desired. But the buzz of the machinery and kind of seeing things go wrong and how to fix them and all that. But
you see the struggles they go through. But it just show, I believe Wicklow is full of gold. Down the Dargle River and all up to Reese, you could have getting gold. Is there any chance you think we'd see you down in Wicklow panning for gold, or bringing Johnny's diggers with a big thumb on it coming down? And
well, my father was from Lara in Glendalough.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I've in around Glendalough, up and around the lakes, and that is to me is an awful special place. I don't get there enough. I've relations there around between Animo and Lara, and I'd get to see them every now and then. But Wicklow's a special place to me. Like,
I'm surprised you didn't settle down in Wicklow, to be honest with you. You know, would have been a good one for you. You know, panning for gold. But I watch Jade Fever, and that's in British Columbia in Canada, based on the Bounce family. And like that's where you see the struggles they go through. But jade is more expensive than gold, and the Chinese go mad for it. It's got special powers, they believe, and it's fantastic. But you see the big wire saws, and you see massive big saws and industrial level diamond.
The cutting to get you going, all right.
It does get you going. And you see how they overcome. But again, they're running these massive high powered and massive horsepower machines country. You see the beauty of this jade. But like, to be honest, you can be hit and miss, because you might get a vein of jade and a bit like the gold as well, like, you know. So it'd be nice to have that relaxation. It's important to have that relaxation.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad you're relaxed, Johnny, today, because you were a little bit nervous coming in. But as I said to you, we'd make it as easy as we can. I'm glad you came in, and I want to say thanks very much, Johnny. Is there anything you want to add before we go, or?
No, just, you know, if you're talking about pointers, I suppose it's just stay in the moment in everything you do. Like, I think it's vital for anyone. Like, we look at the past, we look at the future. Like, the future is the future. Whatever it's going to be is going to be. Just stay in the moment, and it costs nothing to smile to someone.
100%, yeah.
Like, I'd often be out running, and I could be running up towards someone, and they'll just put their head down, and another person will put their head up, and I'll always just give a smile, and it could just help someone.
You give me a great laugh, Johnny.
What?
You give me a great laugh.
That wouldn't be
especially
hard.
when you put up on Facebook and you sit down and you have another Irish coffee, which you love, by the way, don't you? You love your Irish coffees.
It's an acquired taste now. It's not for everyone, but I'd be a stickler on my Irish coffees. When we go abroad and you ask for an Irish coffee and it comes back and there's a head on it like an ice cream cone, I'd be disgusted. Like,
that's the horrible cream. It's out of a can.
Yeah, it's sprayed.
I like the real cream that's after being whipped.
Well, it's just I like it made with Jemmy.
Gem is the best, isn't it?
Shot of Jemmy, spoon of coffee, half a sugar, hot water up to just a quarter of an inch, and then pour the cream on the back of the spoon down on top of it, and away you go. Job done.
Perfect. And Johnny, as today, job done. Thanks for coming in, Johnny. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Cheers, buddy.